Hi, I'm Dean Bushmiller with Expanding Security, and this is Software Development Principles and Practices. From a conceptual standpoint, we need to talk about the big problem that we're running into, which is we're transitioning from an old environment to a new environment, and I don't think that that's going to go away anytime within the next 5 to 10 years that this recording is valuable to you. We're transitioning from the old system, which is the 864, which is a five-step sub-process, and it has no expectations of change in process. We may go ahead and create a template that we use from one project to another, but we don't look at all the projects as one big life cycle for our organization. Whereas 800-160 is a 14-step process that actually takes those other steps and kind of explodes them and adds a couple of components in it, but it does something very different. In a lot of cases, what happens at the very beginning is we set higher levels of expectations, but then what we do that's different is we write them as policy so that they can be used across all future development environments. And then here's the really different thing. We write a rationale for why we chose what we chose, and also why we didn't choose the other thing. And we write this into the policy. Why is that important? Well, what's going to happen is later on down the road, either in the project or from project to project, there's going to be a request to deviate. The new manager comes in. Your manager who wrote all this stuff, they float up the chart all the way up to the top level of the organization. And this new manager comes in and says, we want to get rid of all that stuff. We want to go ahead and do these things here. And you go, okay, well, let's reread the rationale at this moment in time and see whether it works for us to go ahead and change that. The great thing is that you can say, look, you don't have the right to change software universally or to make your special pet project with a different kind of programming environment, with a different kind of set of requirements, because you don't have that authority within the organization. But you can go get it. I'm not telling you can't do it, but go to your boss's boss and get them to sign off on this. That will allow us to go ahead and confirm that we want to change those things and allow the rewrite, or to confirm the process that we have in place and we don't do any rewriting. For SDLC, when we look at the principles here, there are 5 guiding principles: integrated approach, risk management, continuous improvement, it should be customer focused, and it should be a good collaboration and communication all throughout the process. Now, that can work without going through the 14 steps or the 5 steps or just developing your own code locally for your devices. I'm working with a developer right now that we have meetings on a weekly basis. It's just him and me on my project, and we go through this weekly process. Not only that, but we text each other back and forth and asking questions to go ahead and make sure that what I need is what he's developing. Also, one of the things is I'm the subject matter expert on what I need, and I may not be able to clearly define all of that stuff up front. And it may take him building something and showing it to me, and I go, okay, well, we've got to fix this particular thing. But the way that we work well is we set all these expectations up front, and we can go back to that particular document and work from it. What do we get out of a good SDLC? Well, system reliability and availability is improved. We can reduce costs associated with system development, deployment, and operation. The reality is here, most projects that are first initially brought up by an organization are said to cost X. And the reality is, most of the time, it's 10X when we get finished. We need to change that process for ourselves and detail out each one of the places where this could cost us more. We're going to make sure that the customer is more satisfied and that their experience when they get to using the application is excellent. We can increase efficiency and productivity of the developers and also of the people who are using it. We ultimately get better risk management and mitigation because we understand the components and the way those components can fail. And finally, we improve the environmental sustainability of this. We make sure that not in just in this project, but in all projects, we can keep on delivering the mission. So I hope you'll join me for the rest of the presentation.